kind of manage my business as a temporary manager. But in few months' time, I realized that my business is collapsing. So the first learning for me as a budding entrepreneur was, if you need to run a company and make it successful, you need to be physically present there. When I go to colleges, I see a lot of young budding entrepreneurs who say, we just start off, it's okay, we'll get it run by somebody else, I'll have people to manage it. But that's the biggest failure. You're setting up yourself for failure. So because if you are not really there managing your show, taking care of every little thing by yourself, you're setting up yourself for failure. That was my first learning. Because the reason is, it's your baby and nobody else can be as passionate as you are about your baby. So that learning kind of came into me, and I was thinking that the people there would take me for a ride, so why not shut it down? So then I somehow sold the whole business. I went and joined Oracle, and the whole journey started continuing. I worked with Oracle and a couple of other large IT solutions company, working in front-end sales for about 10 years, and then I moved out. So all this while, my passion was to become a trainer. So I was preparing myself. I had a goal in mind, which was to start my training company. And the entire career that I was part of different companies, I was preparing myself, learning, different things, experiences in terms of traveling to different places, meeting up with, big corporation giants, CEO level folks, mid-management level folks, experiencing different cultures, being part of great teams, successful teams, having to go through terrible failures in life, working for some great leaders, working for terrible, horrible bosses. So a lot of experiences came in. So I started realizing that, wow, this was one of the fantastic, best decisions that I ever made in my life to stop or sell the old franchisee training company and start working for a multinational giant. And then over the period, I realized that now is the time when I need to move out and kind of, start sharing and giving back to the society what I have gained from my corporate life. So that's how Life Shifts was born about 10 months back. It's not even a year, it's just 10 months. Now, today, at this point, I would say I have never been so happy ever in my life like this. But it doesn't mean that I'm not struggling. I would say I'm struggling like never before. Because this has been a total lifestyle change. I used to be a spendthrift, taking home a good hefty salary. I had a very lavish life. And suddenly becoming an entrepreneur all on my own, it was total upside down. I started cutting down literally everything. I stopped shopping, going out, going out with friends came down. Entertainment expenses got down, clothing expenses came down. So literally you were bootstrapped. So I used to hear a lot of my startup clients tell me we are bootstrapped. But I started experiencing what bootstrap really means. And adding to this struggle was my wife. She also in the whole process of, she was actually working for one of the biggest hospitality companies in India as a sales manager. And as part of the motherhood, she realized that she wanted to do something around children. So she wanted to set up a play school. And today, she's actually working as a teacher in a play school, taking home probably 1/5 or 1/10 of the salary that she used to take being part of a hospitality company. So think about my struggle. So I quit my job, my wife quit my job, we have a small kid to manage, and this is the kind of struggle we are going through. But at the same time, the kind of happiness that was created in the home, the kind of peace of mind, there were a lot of entrepreneurial struggles, but the kind of happiness, the kind of excitement that we had in our house was super exciting. I believe the only reason for that is we were doing something that we really wanted to do in our life, both of us. So that kind of made me think, why is that Kerala, being such a literate state, have so many divorces? We are the front runners in divorces, we are the front runners in suicide. Why is this happening? It is happening because people are doing things that they do not want to do. If you go to engineering colleges, if you go to management colleges, you find people who are doing those programs not because they want to do it, because the parents want to do it. So the reason why we're having a lot of these issues in our state is because people are not happy and there is a lot of frustration in their jobs and that is resulting in a lot of divorces and suicides. So before the reason I told this story of mine is because in the whole process I realized that happiness comes when you do what you want to do in your life. So there are two questions which I think each one of us should ask ourselves. The first question is, are we doing what we really want to do in our life? So that's a big question. Are we really doing what we want to do in our life? The second question is, do we know, if we're not doing what we want to do in our life, the second question is, do we know what we want to do in our life? There are two options. Some people know what they want to do in their life, which is great. I mean, you are absolutely sure this is what you want to do, but you're working for something else, you're not able to get into it. I would say you need to take a very planned, informed decision, think about it, and see if you have the core skill set that is required for you to jump into that. Because if you miss the core skill set, which is why I told you I didn't want to become a fashion designer because I knew I'll fail. I could not become a cricketer because I lacked the core skill set. So if you lack the core skill set, don't try to follow your passion because you're setting up yourself for failure. So, and then check if you have a unique selling proposition which you can take to the market and make a living out of it and be successful. So this is if you know what you want to do in your life. The other option is the scenario where you do not know what you want to do in your life. That's the moment when you need to ask ourselves, who are we? What are we? What's the purpose of our life? What drives us? What motivates us in our life? What is our passion? What's our interest? What are hobbies? The whole process of understanding ourselves will let us know what is that we want to do with our life. So once we do that, again I think we can slowly plan out what is that we want to do and how we'll get into doing what we want to do in our life. It could be probably switching your job, starting your own company, or moving into an industry which you really want to work for, or it could be pursuing a passion as a side job if you think that's not going to create a living for you. So that's just two questions which I want each one of you when you drive back home probably think about, because I believe once people start doing what they really love about, what they really want to do in their life, there'll be a lot of happiness that we create. Now, I would like to close the discussion, or rather my topic, with one small thought. How do we create an environment for our future kids or our children? Unfortunately, we as parents or individuals, we always equate success to the car that we drive, or the brand of clothes that we wear, or the kind of house we live in. But which is wrong, because I personally know of a lot of my friends who have tons of money in the bank who are extremely unhappy, people who are planning to commit, who are on the verge of suicide. So I think the change has to happen from within, where we should stop equating success to materialistic things, but have become individuals or parents who should be talking about our children like, hey, my kid is an artist and I'm finding him very happy and successful in life. My son is a journalist and he's doing extremely well. Forget about what the car he drives or the bus or the house he owns or what brand of clothes he wears. So this is a small message I thought I want to pass along and use this opportunity because as I told you earlier, once each one of us start doing what we believe in, what we love, there'll be a lot of happiness that we created. So on that note, I would like to close this. Once again, thank you, Andy, for the great opportunity. I hope through this small experience of my life being an entrepreneur, I've been able to spark at least a few of you when you drive back home, ask these questions of, are you doing what you want to do? And, asking yourself the second question of, what is that you want to do with your life, or what's the purpose of your life? I wish you all success and thank you.
Thank you, George.